Welcome back. Today we're talking about the basics of brushstrokes in dot art. So let's go through the brushes first. You'll have rigger brushes that have longer bristles and can give you a thicker and longer brush stroke. Were named rigger brushes because they used to use them in art to paint ships, and they used them to paint the rigging lines on the ships. So they were able to make such long, beautiful strokes for those rigging lines, and they're called rigger brushes. So then we have liner brushes that have shorter bristles and can often make much smaller and more detailed and tighter tails on them that you can tuck into places. So they are good for that purpose. We also have round brushes specifically that come to a pointed end that you can use. Many people use that as well for creating their brush strokes. Quite frankly, you're going to just have to try them out because you will gravitate towards some brushes and become comfortable with certain sizes that you like to use, and for everybody that's different, right? So it's just a matter of getting a set, trying them out, practicing brush strokes, and seeing which brush is going to work for you on whatever element you're trying to create. I'm going to show you some of the brands that I have. I have Thoughtful Dots rigger brushes. They're the green set. I have a set from Happy Dotting Company that includes 4 sizes, 2 rigger brushes, 2 liner brushes. They describe them as large, medium, small, extra small. I often use the XDT Art Supplies brushes. I really like them. This is an old set and I cannot remember the name of it, but they were good. In the liner brushes, of course, I've got Thoughtful Dots and I have XDT. Those two are sort of my go-to brushes in my set. And I have Skipton. Jerry Q liner brushes are very popular as well. Those are basically the brands that I have, but there are so many sets out there now. So just have a look around and purchase a set and try them out, okay? So I guess from here on in, we're gonna talk about the technique of creating brush strokes, positioning of your hand and your arm for stabilizing. I don't have a lot of the Thoughtful Dots brushes anymore because I had an accident with them and they were all in this cup. It fell off my desk and it fell upside down, ruined a lot of my brushes. They ended up flayed at the ends, sort of looking like that. And most of them were, of course, my Thoughtful Dots brushes. So anyhow, moving forward, we're going to just look at how we create brush strokes. So we can make swooshes with our tools, of course, but we can also make beautiful swooshes with brushes as well.
So let's get at it, shall we?
So you're going to saturate your brush with paint all the way up to the ferrule, and then you're going to be placing pressure down and then drawing straight up.
And as you are drawing that swoosh up, you'll be releasing pressure so that you get a nice narrow tail at the bottom of your swoosh.
So I'm just using the XDT1 in the rigger brushes. So I'm going to saturate that brush all the way to the ferrule. And I'm going to try and stabilize my arm and my wrist because basically my fingers are doing the work. So it's going to be pressure down and release as you're coming up. Okay, and that's giving you your nice swoosh, and you can make it a longer swoosh by holding that pressure down a little longer and then releasing, releasing, releasing. Okay, and you might want to do that same brush stroke but in a different direction. You might want to come downwards. Okay, same thing. It's pressure down and release.
And slow and steady really wins the race here.
Okay, pressure down and release. Now you also might like to do one on a curve. Same thing, pressure down and release. Pressure down and release. Pressure down and release. Let's try that same thing, only with one of the liner brushes. This is the 2/0 brush. So pressure down and then release as you're coming up. Pressure down and release. Pressure down and release. And you're just going to keep practicing and try and get the same looking swooshes. Okay, so that's a rigger brush and a liner brush. Liner brush is also known as script brush because they use them to do script writing, right? Like calligraphy and stuff. Okay, we'll give one of these round
brushes with the tapered tip a try.
Pressure down and release. Pressure down and release. Pressure down and release. So you can see that when you release your pressure is also going to determine how narrow that tail is going to be. I'll take one of these brushes that I've got. Pressure down and release. I really like the feel of that brush and how the paint flows. Okay, so we'll sometimes be doing a swoosh upwards from that side, and sometimes we'll be doing a swoosh upwards from this side. Or sometimes we'll be coming down from here, or down from here. And you may have a flower base and you may come around it like this and like this. And what you have to do is you have to practice doing it from and to different directions, if you know what I mean. This one here, it always gives me a hard time. And it's as I come to make the turn that I seem to have trouble. And when you're practicing, try and get them as close as you can without that paint bleeding together. Because sometimes in your patterns, it's going to be leaving a negative space in between them. And sometimes you're not going to leave a negative space. So it depends on what you want for that particular pattern. Oh, there we go. I got too close with that one. That's okay. So let's look at what it looks like when we want that to happen, as opposed to when we don't want that to happen. Okay, sometimes when I'm doing my color swatching for my pieces, I will be placing the swooshes beside each other with no negative space between them, okay? So let's start here. And now I want to go in with the next color, and I'm using the same technique, pressure down and release as I go up. And I want to be right beside that one, no negative space. Now you can let it dry for just a bit, or you can just go right up against it.
But just please make sure that your paint isn't too runny, or they may bleed into one another.
So we'll go in with the blue next. purple. Again, you see that I'm loading that brush right up to the ferrule. Pressure down and release as I'm coming up. Okay, and lastly we'll go in with our fuchsia pop. And release. Now, can you see what happened there? Sometimes it'll get a little translucent there in the middle. I like to just go over it and see if I can fix that. Or I'll wait till it dries to do it, because sometimes it just makes it look messy. But that's not bad there the way that is. So that's when you want to put them right up next to each other. Sometimes you'll have an issue, just actually like I had there with the pink, where the colors are translucent. Now we'll see, probably won't do it now that I'm saying it, but let's try in the orange. Oranges and yellows, sometimes reds are bad for this. Now you can always mix in a mixing white to give it a little bit more opacity. Let's give this a try. Okay, so you can see it is a little bit translucent there, and many artists just leave it like that. Or you can go in over it after it's dry, add the mixing white. You just need a little bit to have it hold its color. Yellow, notorious as well. So again, I'm coming right up next to that. But yeah, so they both want to have a bit of that yellow. So you can either try and go in over it, or wait until it's dry and go in over it, or lots of people just leave it like that. Okay, now you will find a difference in the size of a swoosh you can make depending on the pressure, the amount of paint,
and the brush you're using.
So this one here, let's really press down and do a lot of pressure and then bring that up. And let's, with this one, just do a little bit of pressure, drag it up. So you can see that I can make all sorts of swooshes with this same brush, right? I can get different lengths, different widths. All right, so that's that. Now sometimes you're going to want to use the really tiny liner brushes so that you can get in around
a flower base. Let's just place a flower base here using the 8mm tool in Fuchsia Pop.
And let's say I want to bring a blue up around it. So I'm going to be looking for one of my liner brushes to do this. That's a 5/0. Let's give it a try. Okay, so again, same thing. So let's say I'm going to start right at that center line on the one side of the center line there. So I want to get as close to that as I can without touching it, okay? So it's pressure down and around. And I'm releasing as I come around. Now, some people have difficulty doing this side. I am one of those people. I'm going to try it, but then if it doesn't work out, we're going to do it again, because how I will accommodate myself for that is I'll come around this way, attack it from a different direction. Sometimes it means you have to let your paint dry for a bit. Pressure down and around. And you really want to lighten up as you're trying to tuck that in right at the bottom there. Okay, let's see if I can fix that one just a little bit. Okay, maybe after that I'm going to go in with a round of dots. Then I'm going to come up here again, make a bigger dot. I'm going to take my brush and create a swoosh from the bottom up to the top. So it's pressure down. And to the top. Pressure down and to the top. So see how I went over that because I didn't have enough paint on my brush to do that. So now the same thing, it's pressure down and to the top. Okay, and that makes a nice, lovely little pattern, doesn't it? So if you want your bigger swooshes, you're going to use your rigger brushes. If you want smaller swooshes, use your liner brushes. But as you can see, you can do all sorts of sizes with the same brush. And take this brush here, and let's say we want to make a swoosh coming downwards. And you may have to kind of reproduce the type of swoosh you've made because maybe it's part of a pattern. Sometimes you're going to need to go like we did here, up this way. And sometimes you're going to go in the opposite direction and meet at the top. So the same as we did with our tools, we can do these swooshes with the brush. And it's always the same thing. Pressure down, release as you're coming up. Maybe I'll do a swoosh all the way around that. So honestly, there's so many different design elements you can use this in. A lotus flower is one that gets done quite a bit. Nice flower base. So we're starting with the first one and we just want to tuck that in under there. So I might go in with a bit of a smaller liner brush for that. Come down a little bit lower. I don't really like that, but we're going to carry on because sometimes you can fix those when you add your next swoosh. So now I want to come a little bit lower. And bring that right across. I'm going to come a little bit lower.
Not giving up, it's still fixable.
Okay, I could see that there might be an issue there, but I knew I was going to be going in over it, so that was okay. Okay, so what I would do is I would practice your swooshes in different directions, like this. Pressure down, release. Pressure down, release. Pressure down, release. And I'm going to go over that again.
So it's not quite so translucent.
And what you're doing is you're just trying it from different angles, okay? Because some angles are more difficult than others. And if you need to turn the paper around to be more comfortable with it, 100% do that, okay? And then you're going to practice swooshes that are coming straight down, going straight up, press down, release, 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 release. You might want to do one from left to right or right to left. Now, I find that difficult, so I would make it top to bottom. Whoops, I just got my cloth in the paint there. Let's try and fix that up since I got my hand in it. Try out doing different lengths. See how far you can go with one. This is the number 1 rigger brush. Let's see how far I can go with it. Obviously, longer bristles are going to take you a further distance. Like this one here, this is the number 3 brush from Thoughtful Dots, right? That's a lot of paint. Pressure down. You can make a really, really long swoosh there. And I find what you need to be careful of is when you're getting to the end of that swoosh, not allowing it to take on a life of its own and continue on. You want to be very intentional with your strokes and know where you want them to end. And that's, again, another thing I would suggest practicing. Like say, I know I want it to end there, so how much pressure? When do I release? How narrow do I want that tail? So you're thinking about a lot of things. When you're going on either side of something, you're also looking at both sides because you want one to be the same width as the other. Okay, so you're going to have to try very hard to match them, right? Let's just make a short swoosh with this. Obviously with these big brushes, if you're making a short swoosh, you're going to have a wider tail, right? Because otherwise you need to continue on to get that narrow tail. My best suggestion is practice with different brushes, different bristle lengths, just to see what they'll do for you and what brush you're actually going to feel comfortable with, because that's really important as well. And honestly, most brushes will do what you need them to do, just depending on your amount of paint, your pressure, and how you release. Okay? Look at me getting my hand always in these things. Okay, I've got the 1 XDT, and let's just come down on this side of this one. And on this side of this one. And I'm sort of looking ahead to see where I need to get to. Now I'm a little bit unfinished there. Again, you can always go back in and touch up. It's not like one swoosh and you're like, oh no, that I don't like the look of that. Well, you can go in when it's dry and touch it up. Oh, I got my hand in there. Again, go in when it's dry and just swoosh over top of that. It's not a problem.
Just play with your brushes.
That's basically it for technique. Stabilize your hand if possible.
Usually if I'm working on a piece, I'll take it off
the Lazy Susan so I can get more stability. But I have done it on the Lazy Susan, and if I'm getting to the edge, I'll just use my hand to stabilize my other hand with the paintbrush in it.
This is one of the round brushes. You really have to release that pressure as you're coming up in order to get a thinner tail with these brushes.
So if you have these brushes, I would give them a try.
Oh, I'm not sure if I showed you the Happy Dotting Company brushes.
Happy Dotting Company. This would be one of their larger brushes, but that's going to make a nice big plump swoosh for you. And it does have the nice, lovely, rounded
bottom to it. Beautiful. This is the Skipton 5/0. I haven't tried it before, so I'm just giving it a try. And it's giving such lovely, fine, beautiful swooshes. Really like it. You will find that there are some brushes that don't give you that nice, rounded bottom to the swoosh, and it gives you more of a point first. I'm not fond of those brushes and try and weed them out. And sometimes it's just a matter of them being old, misshapen, or tattered.
In the Design Elements module, any of the things that you see done with tools, swooshes done with tools, you can probably do with brushes.
Now, I have an issue where I have
arthritis in my wrists and fingers, so I do find some of the strokes are really difficult for me to do. Like coming up this way is so much harder for me just because I just don't have the flexibility anymore that I used to have. So I work around. I'll turn the piece around, I'll wait till it's dry, and then I maybe do one side all
the way along.
And then when I get to that other side, make sure the piece is dry so I can just come over top and basically do the same thing in the opposite direction, which is more comfortable for me. Okay, I also wanted to show you something else. This is a practice sheet that I made
on an acetate sheet.
I just made some flower bases, different shapes, and put that on with black Sharpie on the back so that I can practice on this and just wipe it off. I will say that with brushstrokes, you need a lot of practice. Take my 2/0, and let's say I wanted to make a swoosh around here. So I can just practice right on this little sheet of acetate and
wipe it off before it dries. Cool.
And it's just a great way to be able to find positions that you will find comfortable. Maybe you want to come this way. Or maybe you want to go around this giant diamond shape. Oops. You get the idea. Or maybe we're coming down around this. And if I don't like it, that's what I do. But it just gives me room to practice and not going through tons of paper, you know? So go ahead and make yourself one of these sheets and you can get in lots of brushstroke practice. You can do dotting around them and then just practice different designs. And then you can wipe them away. You can take a picture if you like it. I mean, a lot of people have pattern books, which is great too. That is a great thing to do. But this way you can practice over and over again because it does take a while to get used to doing brushstroke. Anyhow, if this helps any of you, that's a great thing to use. Okay, let's place a dot here, a flower base.
And we've walked some white dots down with the 0.5mm tool.
So now we want to make a swoosh around that. Maybe we'll come up this way. Lots of paint on there. And you want to get close to those dots, but you don't want to touch them. And I'm going to turn my piece around now to get this other side. And if you need to touch them up, again, as I say, don't worry about it. Just do it. So maybe now we'll go in with some more dots. I've got a bleeder. Do you care? Maybe I can just do this. Okay. All right. So now we'll go in and we're going to bring another swoosh up. Pressure down around your dots to the dot. Again, I'll probably turn it. Pressure down and to the dot.
Placing another flower base with a 10mm tool.
Maybe we'll start like this. There's a dot. And we're going to swoosh down. So we'll start here. Nice and slow and steady. Release, release, release. Slow and steady pressure. Release, release, release. So maybe we'll place another dot here. I'm just going to match these guys up. They weren't intentionally supposed to be like that, but okay, so that's a nice pretty element that you can do with brush strokes. This is the Zero liner brush from Jerry Q. We'll give that a try. Now see, to me, if I see that translucence, I might go over that again. Not pressing down as hard, but just giving it more paint. Now I'm going to come down lower with this one. Pressure down, release. I want to come down about the same as that one. Pressure down and release. Sort of giving it that lotus flower look, you know? So I want to come down further now. Pressure down. Release. Pressure down. Release. I know I'm giving you some really funky colors. It's kind of the point sometimes. Okay, so just different things that you can do with these brush strokes.
A different design.
Let's go in with the Zero brush. Pressure down and release. And I'm going to just turn it a bit here so it's a bit comfortable for me to work with. Pressure down, slow and steady, and release. Pressure down and release. Pressure down and release. And maybe
we'll just dot down along here.
pressure down and release. Pressure down and release.
So many designs. Set your imagination free. And if you have the right brush, the right paint, and you know the technique, you'll be good to go. Okay, let's do one more before we get into the clips.
We've got our swoosh, and now we want to do some brush strokes around that. So I'm going to start about here because I'll probably put some dots up there. Pressure down.
Double stroke.
I'll take our purple, and I'm using the 0 XDT. Pressure down. You see I'm starting just above that one there. This is a really pretty element. And we'll go just a little bit higher. Release, release. I'm going to turn that around because that's how it works for me. And I know that I'm starting right here. Pressure down and release. And then you could always place some dots in between. So you're going to work at, first of all, just doing the strokes, and then you're going to work at creating them closer and closer together, but maintaining that negative space. And then you can work at putting them right next to one another. I'm going to show you some clips from some of the pieces that I have created using brush strokes,
so you can see how we implement them in our pieces.
All right, because I'm doing brush strokes, I'm going to be taking it off the Lazy Susan so I can better stabilize my hand.
Now, as you can see, coming down on the right-hand side there, I need to be mindful of the other flower next to it because I need to fit another swoosh on the other side. So I'm always watching for that, making sure that I'm leaving enough space. Here again, I'm making sure to look left and right to make sure that both sides are equal in width and come down to the same narrow tail. Here we're bringing a swoosh down on either side of those teardrop swooshes that have been surrounded by petals. And you just really need to be careful not to hit the dots that are the petals. So watch closely as you're dragging your brush down so you don't run into those dots. In this clip here, we've already placed one swoosh right outside of the dot, and then we place some dots, and now we're placing another swoosh. And as you can see, I'm going around and doing the left hand side of those first. That's an easier way for me to attack that side from that position. And then I go in to attack the other side. And this is what it looked like when it was done. On this piece, we're placing pearl white brush strokes alongside the flowers there. And we're starting at the bottom and working up to the top. I'm using the 2/0 Thoughtful Dots rigger brush here. Okay, my friends, that is the end of the Basics of Brushstrokes module. I do hope you found it helpful. In Module 13, we'll be talking all about adding embellishments to our pieces. Thanks for joining me. Please remember, keep on dotting. You won't regret it.